Hey, everybody. My name is Pastor Matthew. I'm the youth pastor here at Grace Bible Church. And this man sitting next to me is?
I'm Ian Hamby. I'm a missions resident here at Grace Bible Church. And I'm in the youth group here. On Sunday, I had our teaching time about gratitude.
Nice.
And we're following up the conversation.
Yeah. You're also a small group leader. Who do you lead with, and what grade?
In youth group, 6th grade boys.
Let's go.
It is so much fun.
So much fun. Dragon energy.
We probably have the coolest energy of any group. Not to compare, but like.
I mean, obviously.
It's fun.
It's fun.
It's good.
It's good. And your co-leader?
Co-leader, Brady Dutton. Yes, he is so great too. And Brady and I are friends, so we are familiar with working with each other, especially in ministry. So
lots of
it's good.
What's the words? What are some of the words that you use to describe your group? Let's see, some genre. Is that some words that you say?
Well, I would say, yeah. We could describe it that way.
I love it. And so the whole point of these podcasts, these kind of midweek messages. Sorry, everyone, that was not me. That was you.
No, I think that was a computer.
Oh, it was a computer. Oh, that's funny. The points of these podcasts are to take what we talked about on Sunday and kind of dive in a little bit deeper, talk a little bit more about what probably couldn't have been said in the 20 minutes that they had to discuss on Sunday night. And so we're going to have a various number of people who are going to come and sit in this seat. Sometimes I might even be sitting in that seat, and you might be sitting in this seat.
Oh, maybe I'll talk.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, okay.
And just kind of go deeper and do kind of two things. One, we want to be able to provide an avenue for students to be able to understand at a deeper level what we were talking about, but also for parents. We want you to be able to ask good, informed questions of what your students are learning, to be able to learn yourself if these concepts are new. So that's kind of the twofold strategy, if you will, tactic, if you will, that we're trying that we're trying to hit on. So let's dive in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Cool. All right, so you alluded to that we talked about gratitude this past Sunday, yeah? Yeah.
That's right.
So first off, what was it like coming up with the content around gratitude?
It was good, enjoyable. I had a lot of ideas, things that I wanted to talk about, or different like scripture to hit on, different anecdotes. And then I was like talking with people on like what would make the most sense to fit together. And yeah, it was kind of a process of bringing it down because there was a lot that I could have said. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And so when you kind of landed with a definition of what you said gratitude was, can you read for us that definition?
Yeah. It was our most satisfying source of joyful gratitude is a relationship with a loving God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you craft that? Like, where did that come from?
It's kind of lengthy, but I tried to fit a lot of ideas in there. So like when I said it's a most satisfying source, that was kind of hinting at like there's lots of things that could be joyful, especially like physical blessings, or maybe they're happy things.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to get to at the root is like, what's the most satisfying? Mm-hmm. Like in any kind of suffering or trouble in the world, or any season where maybe there just doesn't feel like anything to be grateful for, what will always be satisfying? Yeah. Joyful, I guess I put source of joyful gratitude because I was like putting both of those terms kind of together. And I think in some ways they connect.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. And then a relationship with a loving God. And I think relationship is huge because it's not like transactional, like I receive blessing or joy and then I only look to myself and I walk in my life.
Yeah.
Relationship is like I'm always with God. And I actually struggled, like, should I just say God or like creator God, or like there's a lot of different ways to describe, but I came to, and especially with the verses that I hit on Sunday, his love is a key aspect in especially what we're talking about. Yeah.
Because even on Sunday you talked about, was it John 14, 15, 16, and 17.
Yeah. Yeah, I had verses from all of those chapters.
Yeah, it was awesome because what you were able to do is, from how I understood it, was you were able to take those verses, and each element of those verses built a foundation that lent itself towards that definition.
Yeah.
And so you talked about Jesus, us being found in Jesus, and Jesus being found in God, and us being found in God because we're found in Jesus. And then you talked about how the world, and one of them, I think it was John 16:33, where you were saying the world's going to hate you because the world hated me, but don't fear because I've overcome the world. And so even in the midst of our suffering, we can find that joy, right? And I think it's really important too that you made this distinction that there's a difference between joy and happiness, and that joy is surpasses suffering. That there are people who you can be going through the deepest, darkest hell that you've couldn't even fathom on your own, and yet you still have joy, and it's not this like hot pie in the sky blindness to what's happening. It's life is happening, but my God is still good. And but then on the other end of happiness, where if all you are pursuing is the next thing that will bring happiness to you,
Right.
well, then you're going to buy the next Xbox thinking it's the next PlayStation 5 or 7, whatever they're on now.
Yeah.
Right. Thinking that's going to be it. Right. The newest headphones.
And it might bring you some happiness.
Yeah.
And honestly, if it brings you happiness, it'll continue to affirm that that's where I find my happiness. But someday it's going to let you down because that's based on or dependent on circumstances.
Yeah. And it's not satisfying.
Right.
It might be quenching. Right? Like you're drinking water.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, I'm so thirsty. And you drink some water. That moment is taken care of in that moment.
Right.
But in 3 hours, you're going to need some more water.
And that was what I was getting at. Well, what I think Jesus is getting at in the chapters that I read out of from John, like Jesus is going to leave, and especially in 16:33 in the book of John, he says, like, you can have peace because of these things.
Yes.
And then right after he says, there will be troubles in this world.
Yes.
So it's like what he has been talking about will bring you peace.
Yes.
And that's not, what's the word? That's not in contention with there being troubles in the world.
Correct.
Because,
it's almost like a promise. There will be troubles.
Right.
And there will be peace provided for you.
Yeah, which is almost better.
Yeah, right. If you're the vine, if you're in the vine,
yeah,
right. Like, or if you're because he's the vine, or is it we are the vine, you're the branches? I can't remember, but how the passage is exactly worded.
Yeah,
but
he's the vine.
Yeah, and then we're the branches, right? And so we get our nourishment from him.
Yeah,
and so if we're in there, the peace is provided for us.
Yeah,
which is wildly
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so. That's kind of our idea of gratitude. Now I would love for you to talk a little bit about how this tension of like gratitude, being grateful for things in the midst of hardship, but also being grateful for, but being grateful in when you have a lot to be grateful for, right? There's this tension that you built. And so you talked a little bit about your mission trip to Asia, and how they had showers and they didn't have like hot showers all the time or cars. That wasn't like the norm necessarily.
There were a lot of different, a lot of comforts that we have here that weren't there.
Correct. And you talked about how you had some food. And
a lot of the food, it tastes great.
Totally.
But then it does weird things to your stomach.
Yeah. So we touched on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Katie thought that. My wife's name is Katie, and she's also one of our small group leaders for one of our middle schoolers. And she thought that was hilarious. She was like, "You keep talking about the stomach issues; those are so funny."
Yeah. Well, I don't want to weird anyone out.
Yeah, dude, for
There's
sure.
too many details.
But all that to be said, let's talk a little bit about okay, so in your studies for this lesson, how did this grip you? How did this help you kind of like, oh man, God was really challenging me to look at these maybe life circumstances a little bit differently? Yeah.
So in my teaching time, I used that anecdote from when I went to Asia, which is a good one. And I had a handful of anecdotes I mentioned.
Yeah.
But one that I think is really good and kind of gets at what you just mentioned, like while I was preparing for this, or as I started thinking about what I'm going to be teaching.
Yeah.
It was the end of October. And it's kind of cool because, yeah, it's super cool. Because what I was talking about on Sunday were things I was forced to, by circumstances, to put into practice, especially towards the end of October. And then from that, I was able to I think I better understood and was able to teach about it.
Yeah.
And so some of those were like, October, I had a funeral for a death of a close friend from college. And then another person I was close with had a funeral. So 2 in October. One of those funerals was right before the youth retreat, that same day.
Yep.
And I remember after the youth retreat, youth retreat was great.
Totally.
Very exhausting, but amazing.
Amazing.
But it was like that entire week afterwards, I feel like maybe it was emotional or physical, probably both. I was still low on energy all week. And there was, I'm pretty sure, all of October was like that, just low energy and emotionally. And then it made things, so then it gets into this, I was having this weird tension of I'm obviously sad and there's reasons for that sadness and that's okay. This is happening. But then also I was I want to still I don't know, go out and do things and try to, have a good time or provide room for happiness in my life.
Yeah.
And I found that even the things that were normally enjoyable for me weren't as much.
Yeah.
Simple things, but and that was really hard. And so then I came towards the end of October, really, really getting to experience the coming to God with all of these hurtful things, all this pain, and seeing how satisfying He is, and also seeing, I think in a good way, that the physical blessings or the usual comforts that I have are good, and I can enjoy them. I can be thankful to the Lord, but also they're not going to fix everything all the time.
Totally. I had a very similar situation. My son was 3 months old, and he got RSV, and we were in a hospital in the ICU. And luckily, he wasn't it wasn't they had to intubate him or any of that kind of stuff. But it was really dark. I was my son could not make it through this. And I remember I was driving through a drive-through getting food, and I remember I looked a song came on. It was the goodness of God or something like that. And I just remember thinking, this thought came into my mind of if your son were to die, would God still be good? And the initial thought was no. Right. And I had to wrestle with this idea of what did my son do? Why would he deserve this death? And then the next thought that came into my mind was, this is a war on death. And in war, there are casualties. And the war we fight does not mean that the war we fight to show the world God's goodness, in spite of the brokenness and the chaos, is not a negation of God's goodness. It is just a proclamation of the reality of the war, and that the consequences for our determining what is good and what is bad, that when we do that, it brings chaos and it brings death. And so how do we wrestle through that? And some of the simplest ways is through gratitude, because gratitude takes you from thinking about yourself in this little microcosm of what a 2 by 5 inch screen, right? And it brings you out into something bigger than you had at a minimum, right? Because you even brought up this anecdote at the very beginning of your talk about how just looking around and just thinking about sleep in general, you didn't make sure your lungs were breathing. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Last night when we were asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was completely, you have to admit, that was the Lord fighting.
Or at a minimum, you have to admit that was something that was keeping you alive. And not me. And not us, right? And some people will be like, well, evolution says and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But for right now in this discussion, we can understand that something or someone outside of us was holding and sustaining us and giving us breath and keeping our hearts beating. And at the bare minimum, that entity designed us to continue that way.
Yeah, and part of that, which I don't think I touched on as much as I wanted to, but humility is a key aspect of gratitude, or recognizing these things, because, I guess we touched on it in a way, like happy comforts and like working hard for pleasures, like that's dependent on me.
Yeah.
But as I had mentioned, like the most satisfying joy, that's dependent on God providing.
Yeah.
And it takes humility to receive it.
Yeah.
And along with the other things too, universally in creation, recognizing who's the provider.
Yeah, because one of our small group leaders was talking about this with their group, and they said that the world has, I'm trying to remember it, sorry if I misquote them, but the world can be grateful, but almost always that worldly gratefulness is an attitude of, oh, I'm so thankful for all of the things that I've earned. Look at what the life we've been able to provide, right? And it's this idea that I worked hard, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps, and I ran with it. And look what we've done. And we're grateful for the efforts we were able to put in, right? It's like this very me-centered idea. Versus gratitude from the Christian perspective is someone kept me alive, and I am eternally grateful. That it wasn't me. Right. Yeah. And so I think humility is it's the idea of humility and dependency fosters gratitude, right? When you understand that you are nothing without the thing that provides for you, and that you are entirely dependent upon that thing that provides for you, there is no other response that's appropriate other than gratitude. And this is actually a great segue. I didn't even mean to do this, but
all right, sure.
That brings us to probably our next question, which is, so parents, if you're jumping in on this is a great way. This next little section will be a great time for you to start asking some good questions of your teenagers in kind and gentle ways of just like, hey, what are some things that you can be grateful for? That's a great first question for them. And this gets us to our kind of practical ideas. What things can we as families be fostering an atmosphere of gratitude, and understanding and looking for those ways. I'll give you what I'm trying to talk about in an example. My family, we started this just recently because bedtimes are terrible. Okay. I have 3 kids under 5. Yeah. And so bedtimes are just a disaster. This guy, Justin Early, wrote a book, Habits of the Household. It's a great book, but he would be roasting me in how bedtimes go for us. Okay. And so we were like, okay, we've got to figure out something. Something has to change. And so what my wife did was she grabbed just this booklet that was just blank paper, and she just wrote a date on there, and she looked at it, my son, and said, Emmett, what are you grateful for? And it was like in this midst of like utter chaos. Yeah. And it just stopped us all. My wife is incredible. And she just said, and so she wrote Emmett's name, and then she wrote the first 2 things he said. And then my daughter's name is Alethea. She Tia, we call her Tia. Tia, what are you grateful for? And then it got to us, and to my shame, I was like, I am having trouble thinking of things I'm grateful for, because I was just so frustrated in the moment. Yeah. But then I was like, oh my word, I am so consumed by my own frustration. I'm looking at these beautiful creations, and I can't be grateful for what I have. And so I was able to be like, I am not just grateful for my family, like that's great, but my son loves Legos. And so I just said, I'm so grateful that I get to build Legos with Emmett. Yeah. And it was just like, and so we've been doing that since I think, I don't know, August, September sometime. And we filled that whole book. We started a new journal, and we try to do it every night. And our bedtimes are still a disaster, but we have this beautiful moment where we can practice a little gratitude. So a gratitude journal is a great practice, but what would be some other simple questions, simple ways to draw out gratitude
Yeah.
from students
Yeah.
or ourselves?
Yeah. I am by no means perfect at this. But one thing that comes to mind, you said something just now that made me think of it, but I forget what you said. I do that a lot.
This goes right along with your one of the elements of your job description is how to distract Matthew as much as possible.
That's one of my roles. Yeah, sure.
one of your responsibilities on our team here.
No, but it was connected to a bigger thought, or
Okay.
when we said humility.
Yeah.
You said humility and dependency.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think? One idea that I've found, and in myself, it's been good. I don't know how it would be like talking to kids.
Little kids, yeah. That's
But I've become more okay with talking to God or other people or bringing up really hard things that are going on.
totally.
Like, yeah, I've been a super optimist a lot in my life, and I'd probably say I still am.
Yeah.
But I've become better at like talking about struggles and hard things,
Totally.
and experiencing those emotions. In that, I think I realize that, yeah, it brings in a bit of this humility and dependency.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have everything together.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, even if what I'm doing is not been horrible today,
Totally.
the world, just circumstances can just hit me, and it's like, all right, I'm at the mercy of not just what I create.
Yeah.
And then the dependency, like, it brings me to be like, okay, as I express all these things, I'm like, I need the Lord. Like, I need someone who has overcome it all. So I don't know. And I've experienced with our, before our teaching times each Sunday, or our talks, we do a high-low.
Happy crappy chow.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
Ours has evolved a bit.
Oh, okay.
Into other things.
Yeah. Boolin, as the kids say. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what you say, at least.
Yeah, I don't know. But with the high-low, sometimes it's like a lot of our guys are like, oh, I don't have a low.
Yeah.
We just move on. And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
I mean, that's great if that's true.
Sure.
And it probably is some weeks. But I don't know. What do you think? I think it's
I
cool
think
when
it's
you can
beautiful.
recognize something that's hard.
100%. Because I think what can happen is that there can be this facade in the church, right? Look at what Jesus' words are. I didn't come for the healthy. I came for the sick, right? Churches are supposed to be hospitals for the broken and the sinful. And so what can happen sometimes, and there's this whole issue with people coming to the church and they're like, oh, I don't like the church. And you're like, well, why? And you're like, because they're sinful. You're like, yeah,
We're people.
We're people. And so what's beautiful though is that on the flip side is that if we could cultivate a church and a body, which I think we're trying to with this Happy Scrappies and Chows, right? The high of your week, the low of your week, and what's the best meal. Just simply asking, hey, what was tough this week? Allows students the space to be able to open up about the problems that they have. And you don't but what can you be grateful for?
Right.
Because that's, when we were walking through October, I didn't just look at you and be like, oh yeah, well, God's got a plan for you. Like, that's not going to help anybody when the world is shattering. And so sometimes what needs to happen is there needs to be this empathetic moment where you're like, oh man, that sucks. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
And I don't think that this death was ever a part of God's original design. But that is where we're at now. And so we're going to sit here because this sucks. It could be the death of a relationship, the death of a friend, the death of a person, the death of a job, the death of a opportunity, the loss of, it could be any kind of suffering or loss.
Yeah.
And it's this vulnerability, but allowing that space cultivates a space of trust that allows you then say, not in that moment, but later to be like, so actually kind of in that moment. So what's been good this week? Yeah, you had this, but what's been good this week? And it's this humility and this dependency, and then this other idea of vulnerability, that you allow people to come in, see you struggle, and then you're able to bring them along in your struggle and in your victories. And that can foster an atmosphere of gratitude.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it fosters a atmosphere of belonging, in that your failures, your fears, your brokenness is welcome here. And because I want my failures and my fears and my brokenness to be welcome here.
Yeah.
And so if you knew half the thoughts I have, I don't know if you would accept me. And that's the thought that our teens have. And we want them to understand, you don't have to come in here with a mask of performance. You can come in here and genuinely struggle.
Yeah.
And we'll struggle together, you know?
And it's comforting in the passages I read. Oh, and also we were talking about this in Philippians 4 with Paul.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to have it all together.
No.
Like Jesus says, there will be trouble.
Yeah.
Later in chapter 17, he says the world hates the people with the truth, the word of truth. And in Philippians 4, Paul's like, I know what it is to be, I don't know exactly.
Yeah, to be with, to be without.
Right.
I know what it's
In
like
all
to be
things.
in prison. I know what it's like to be free.
Yeah.
Right? He knows all of the circumstances. What's beautiful about that too is he then says, I have learned the secret of contentment. And you're like, what's that mean?
Yeah.
And in all things. And then he goes on to Philippians 4:13, which says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Right.
And what's so fascinating is I was working with a group of football players who were like, we can do all things. And it's like, well, hold on.
Right.
What that means is win or lose, playing or injured, safe or playing or benched, injured or healthy, you can do all things.
Yeah.
And that means you can be content in all circumstances. So now go out there and hit the guy and do it hard. But doggone it, you better do it with the character of Christ.
Yeah.
Because it's a game.
Right.
And you can do that in a game. Okay? People are like, we can't play football. It's not Christian. Like, oh, stop it.
It's a game.
It's a game, guys.
But
the rules mean you can.
So there's verses like that and others in John
Yep.
where there's a recognition of the suffering and the trouble. And I touched on it too in John 17. Jesus is like, I don't ask that you take them out of the world, but keep them, protect them in the world. So it's okay to have an October like I had where it's like just terrible.
Yeah.
And what we see in John and what I was trying to get is like we have a satisfying relationship, source of joy and peace, fullness of joy in those times.
And it's all not because there's this thing that you have to pay the piper with or insert the dollar to get the candy bar you're looking for, because we don't have a vending machine God.
Right.
He is a God who wants you to come with your lows, but also wants you to come with your highs, and loves it when you talk to him about your chows.
And just talk.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, just being with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Man, Ian, thank you, dude.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
appreciate you bringing this word of what it means to be grateful, especially at a season around Thanksgiving. And man, I appreciate all the time and effort you put into this and the thoughtfulness. And we have a lot of fun together.
Yeah, that's true.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So yeah, hey, so guys, we're gonna try to post one of these after every Sunday. We hope you find these meaningful. You can share these with your friends. You can do the whole like and subscribe so you don't miss a video. And then they'll also be out in our Grace Youth MailChimp that comes out to our families. So we hope this is helpful, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon. See ya.
Bye. Get some B-roll.